Alright guys, let's just get right into it. There's just so much to go over. Anyways, this girl right here, she just got caught red-handed with pretty much a total stranger. But they are kind of acquaintances since she does protect them. But you guys gotta realize, her name is Shirayuki. And Shirayuki is in love with Jinta. And so, you know, their little sister, Suzune right here, she's pretty much like a half demon. If you guys have watched Demon Slayer, she's pretty much like Nezuko-chan. You know, Nezuko, she's like a half demon, but she doesn't realize this power. And the only thing keeping her sane was the fact for her love for her brother Jinta. Now, I don't know what kind of love it was. I don't know how twisted it was, but she was like madly in love with her own brother. But, you know, of course, as well, Shirayuki, you know, she grew up with Jinta as well, you know, as an adopted brother. So for me, it kind of made sense for the fact that, you know, Jinta was able to like just let her go and be like, yeah, go with this other guy, even though Jinta and Shirayuki were pretty much madly in love. But I thought it was like a brother and sister thing, but no. Here you can see here Suzune caught Shirayuki red-handed, pretty much cheating on Jinta. So yeah, this to her, you have to realize she's like she's half demon, you know, just like Nezuko. So her demon side pretty much came out after seeing this. You know, after you catch somebody cheating, or you believe that she believed her brother and Shirayuki, so her brother's right there, you know, laying on the floor right now. You know, he just fought another demon, got his arm, you know, ripped off. So she believes that they will end up together. She's been suppressing her feelings for her brother for a long time. Now, do I condone killing? Of course not, guys. You know, killing Okay, yeah, spoilers, guys. Like, Shirayuki is eventually killed by his younger sister, and a lot of people are applauding it, or at least they agree with Suzune's decision to do this. Now, the only reason I kind of agree, I don't agree with the killing, but I agree with her arguments. Okay, guys, so I agree with Suzune that the fact that she betrayed Jinta, all right, so she betrayed Jinta. If she really did love Jinta, she would just forget about this shrine maiden bullshit. Oh, gotta do it for the village. Fuck the village. You know what I'm saying? What is the village gonna do for you? You know what I'm saying? Kind of a thing. But of course, back in those days, this was like what, Edo? Like, this is back with like Demon Slayer times. You know what I'm saying? So, so for them, tradition is very deep, very deeply heavy rooted. So Jinta was able to be like, you know what? Go marry this guy, because you guys are in the same village. And so he pretty much agreed to being cucked. You know, it's just sad to say, but he pretty much was being cucked. And it just left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And at first, it did leave a bad taste in my mouth. You know, at first, I was like, bruh. And so they kind of both agreed with it. They kind of both were like, all right, I gotta marry this guy. Are you cool with that? And he was like, yeah, I'm cool with it. Like, what the fuck? So it was like a really eye-opening thing. But, you know, he's like a protector, and he really wanted to protect not just her, but the whole, you know, the cultural aspect and the whole traditional aspect of that village. So they were just really heavily ingrained, you know, in this whole, oh yeah, just marry all, you know, just let the girl that you actually love get married to someone else, you know. And I didn't really take it that hard at first. See, you see here, she's like, after all, you do this, because her, like I said, her little sister, his little sister, I mean, loved Jinta, I think, more than a brother. It was like, I don't know if it's like extreme admiration from her younger sister, or like actual love, like she wanted to marry, you know. I don't know if they're actually blood related, but you know. So Suzune-chan, so it's like a three-way drama. So Suzune is in love with Jinta, and Shirayuki's in love with Jinta. All right, so They're both in love with him. And they were both willing to throw him away. You know, it's just amazing. You know, Shirayuki, oh, she's going to do it out of tradition. And Suzune was going to do it out of, you know, love for her brother. She loved him so much that she was willing to have him be with Shirayuki. But I think it was like a sisterly love kind of a thing. But at the same time, I don't think it, well, some incest shit was going to happen. That's for sure. You know, this is the Edo times. Maybe shit was different in those days. You know what I'm saying? Context. See, that's why we gotta go back. So that is why I can understand Suzune's anger, her anguish. You know, her whole entire life, she was like, you know what? I want what's best for my brother Jinta. So as long as he's happy, I'm happy. You know, a lot of people can do that. But you know, the situation between him and Shirayuki was just a little weird. See, look, see, I believed in you. I was ready to grin and just, you know, let things be gone. You know, let things go out. So of course here, you know, Suzune's explaining herself. But yeah, it was just a little awkward, man. Like, you're gonna give up, you know, your love. You know, that's not, to me, you know, I get it. You know, I get it. You have such loyalty to your clan. You have such loyalty to the traditions. But at the same time, I don't really feel like that's love. You know, love for another person means sacrificing everything. Sacrificing everything, even despite tradition and culture. You know, you go against the current. You go against everything just to be with that person. That's why it was a little unsettling at first. But then when I thought about it, guys, you got to look at it this way too. You know, he was an adopted brother, so they're like step bros and stepsis. So it's kind of like, huh? You know, it's kind of like, huh? Like, do you really, like, so I was like, okay, maybe they really didn't love each other like that. And, you know, and Suzune was just, you know, reading their room a little bit different, you know, because, see, I said, because that's the only way I can think to properly repay his feelings. Like, see, this is just weird shit, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, how can you repay someone by marrying somebody else? And so, you know, I was looking at like a brother and sisterly love between Jinta. Let's look at the description again. Between Jinta and right here Shirayuki, the shrine maiden or whatever she is. So for me, you know, I was able to be like, okay, they're adopted, you know, they're step bros, stepsis, you know what I'm saying? And so I was thinking, okay, maybe it wasn't really, see, she's right here. Suzune is like about to break down here because she was gonna sacrifice her whole love for Jinta. But yeah, so I looked at it as like, all right, they're step bros, they're stepsis. They grew up together very young, so maybe they see each other as like brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? So this love that we thought it was between him and Shirayuki, the shrine maiden, was probably just like a brotherly and sisterly love. You know, so I thought maybe I was reading it wrong. You know, I thought maybe I was the one in the wrong. So I was like, all right, he wants to protect his sister, the shrine maiden. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking, yeah, Jinta loves his sister, his stepsister, you know, Shirayuki. So that's why I think he was okay with her marrying someone else. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? You know, so that's why he gave this man to her. You know, I was thinking, all right, you know, that's why he's cool with it. You know, he sees her as a stepsister or as an actual sister because they were adopted. They grew up together, you know, as a young age. And when you're young, you accept them as family and you only see them as family. Of course, here Suzune is pissed. She's like, how dare you? How dare you? So she's over here breaking down. She's allowing her demon side to just come out. And of course, here she gets mind broken and just lets it all go. And of course, look, the only reason why she, you know, just like spurred out, went crazy, and listened to this other demon is because she's extremely like pissed because she believed that, you know, Shirayuki and Jinta were both meant to be there. But this could all be one giant misunderstanding because there's just so much going on and we're only in episode 1. You know, we're only in episode 1. There's not a lot of information out there. You know, maybe after episode 2 we find out more finer details. Maybe episode 3, 4, and 5, and later down we see what's really going on between this whole love triangle. Or maybe we just move on. You know, let bygones be bygones. she ended up killing, Shirayuki, and Jinto, towards the end of the episode, just went on his own way. He went his own way to kill his younger sister Suzune. So she transformed here into a full demon. And can we talk about Suzune's voice actor for a minute? Oh, her voice actor is Reina Uda, bro. It was I could hear Uda Reina in her voice, bro. She did such a fantastic job. It was just perfection. That's why I loved the younger sister Suzune and kind of wanted to take her side, because Reina Uda just did a superb job voice acting her. And here you could just hear her bloodlust or her anger and wanted revenge. She thought she was doing this for her bro. She was like, I got you, bro. But no, man, he did not want this. You can see here he's just in shock. But in all honesty, I think he reacted wrong. And I think it's because he got the demon arm as well. So he pretty much became half demon as well. You know what I'm saying? Another Nezuko 3.0. So even after he saw that the one that he loved, even though he was willing to give her away, so this here really made me think maybe he did really love her as a significant other and not as family, like a stepsister kind of thing. So in all honesty, bro, I think he reacted in this type of way to reject his other sister Suzune. So stay with me here, guys. So the reason why he rejected Suzune, because in all honesty, bro, yeah, I see, you see the one that you love, her head is decapitated. I get it. You're pissed. You're under a lot of pressure. You're under a lot of tension. But honestly, let bygones be bygones. She's dead, bro. Decapitated. Finito. Over. Just get, I get it. You can't get over it right there in that moment. But why throw away your little sister, bro? Why throw, you've known her. You've known your younger sister, Suzune, way longer. And you guys had more bonding. Just as, or if not as much bonding as he did with Shirayuki. Of course they have a different type of love, brother-sister love, but still, why throw her away? He could have at least been like, you know what, you fuck shit up so bad, and I do not condone murder, but he shouldn't be like, I'm gonna, combat murder with murder. But at the same time, we gotta remember, guys, this is like the Edo period, where they, have this different mindset where, oh yeah, one cheek for the other cheek, one life for another life, an eye for an eye. So you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, he could have just just lived with the fact that his family fucked up, and you fucking killed the one that you loved, the woman that you loved. But at the same time, it's like, bro, she's still family. You should have at least been like, damn, I really can't forgive you, but I at least want to retain some type of relationship with his younger sister. But instead, he decides to be like, you know what, I'm gonna kill you too, like, because I mean, you're a demon too now, bro. So I honestly think, even though everything happened at the moment, and this was like, extremely crazy case, I still believe he could have patched things up with Suzune, his younger sister, because he should have just rationally be like, he should have thought, damn, this is not my younger sister, but this is the demon who killed my, the one that I loved, the one that quote unquote love, but was willing to give to another guy. So guys, think about it. He should have rationalized the fact that she did this under a misunderstanding, a misapprehension. So he should have been like, damn, this is the demon talking. This is not my actual sister. You guys get it? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So he should have been more rational, but I think the demon took over him and was like, nope, you gotta take revenge. And so right here you can see he's swinging towards his sister. He's not gonna allow this to go on. And then later down here you see his eyes turn red as well, suggesting that he's just going full demon too. These guys are both decided to just throw everything away and go for revenge. He shouldn't have gone that path. He saw the destruction his little sister created going on this path. Why does he follow in her footsteps? So to me, it made no sense why he's going down the same path his sister went. Revenge, pure revenge. But of course, it kind of makes sense towards the end of the episode why he wants to kill her, because now she's pissed that Jinta betrayed her. So the fact that if he didn't betray his younger sister and was like, you know what, You killed Shirayuki. You kind of burned down the village in a way. He should have been like, you know what? I don't want her to go on a war path if I betray her too. So he should have been like, you know what? Yeah, you killed her. Bygones be bygones. She's not gonna come back, bro. Just let it go. But no, I think it was because he had the demon part in him that he wanted to take revenge and just create this whole fucking situation even worse. But yeah, it's a tough situation, guys. Was the killing justified? No. But was the misunderstanding and the killing justified after those components of knowing that she's half demon and she allowed the demoness to whisper in her ear and go full demon? Of course, now it makes sense. 100% now it makes sense. So it all comes together. This first episode was just so well done, guys. What a W for an episode. Let's go, guys. Amazing episode, guys. That is all.